Okay, well, we are here for Awesome Game Replays, episode number 27. And this time, taking a look at The End is Nigh. This is the spiritual successor to Super Meatboy. A game that I was really not that familiar with before we started planning this episode, so I'm going to be learning about it as we go along with you guys as well. But on this episode, we are indeed checking out some speedruns, including the world record speedrun of any percent from our players and guests. So we'll be joined by Eenox and UltraMarlin. So welcome in, Eenox and UltraMarlin.
Hello.
Oh, hi.
And lead hosting this episode is in fact going to be Extruder.
Hello. I just completed 100% of this game recently for research, but I also greatly enjoyed it as well. It has a great difficulty curve and some interesting arcade platformer mechanics. And we're going to go about that a bit later. So the reason I got this game, it was because some people told me that it was close enough to Gish, which is Edmund McMillen's one of the earlier games. And yeah, indeed, some of the abilities that Ash, the main character of this game, has, they are surely reminiscent of Gish's abilities. For example, he can grab any corner that's not harmful to touch, including just those corners at which normally there would be spikes on top of them. And so after that corner grab, he can also move his body in such a way to extend and slingshot of said hooked corners to propel himself farther. And also he can become heavy, and it's called fast fall when you press the down key in mid-flight, and regardless of where you are, you start to fall faster. And it's a very convenient technique for speedrunning, and is required for some of the game's screens.
So you said you can fling yourself over ledges?
Yes, those are ledge jumps. Some people, the speedrun community tries to call them whooshies, and I've never called them that in my entire life. I really don't like that name. I've been adamant ledge jump supporter my whole life.
You can also say long jump or something like that.
Yeah.
In my opinion, the game's quite underrated. It just was under everyone's radar. It's a good proof how even renowned indie developers, really known in the games world, such as Edmund, even their gems can become hidden. In my opinion, it's one of his best games.
Yeah, we were talking about it a little bit before we went live, but yeah, for some reason, even though this game is, I mean, I'm not sure exactly how close to Meat Boy it is, but just looking at it, yeah, I mean, it looks like Meat Boy.
It's like, oh, sorry.
But like, yeah, why? I mean, yeah, why was it not as popular? I mean, I don't know if you wanted to go too deep into that, but
no, yeah, it doesn't.
But yeah, I mean, it's a full-fledged game. It's got 600 unique screens. I mean, it's got a lot of content, so like, what happened there?
I mean, like, the difference in gameplay is that Meat Boy is fast, high-octane gameplay, still like a fast respawn and die precision platformer, but the main difference is that The End is Nigh is more slow and methodical with it. Like, the movement speed, it's really,
okay.
You're not going to see that fast of movement unless like a speedrun, but even then, it's nowhere near as fast-paced as Meat Boy.
Yeah, now that you mention it, he is a little bit slower in comparison.
Yeah, but the character control in this game is much less slippery, which was one of the common complaints about Meat Boy, actually. So yeah. It's easy to get used to, in my opinion. Very accessible game, and later on in the game, you get to pick one of the 3 paths. And so there's much content in the game that you can do in various orders, like secret areas, collectibles, mini games, and so it's rather easy to teach yourself the game aspects that you want to. So the game prepares you well for the late game. And the game structure is rather interesting because there are two halves to the game. And the first game in which you get... I'm going to go into a little bit spoiler territory here, so if you want to play the game, just get them now. So the first half of the game is this long branch in adventures where you seek for various secrets and collectibles. And it's the easy part. And the game just teaches you every good mechanic, and you'll need it by the time you reach the second half, in which the arcade platformer part kicks in, and your collectibles become lives. And after you deplete all of those lives within a certain area, which is about 20 levels, you have to redo the entire thing. It's a really ballsy move from Edmund, in my opinion.
Could you call that like something like a second loop type of game thing,
yes,
or? So you're okay, huh?
He originally wanted to make the entire game that way. Like,
okay, yeah. But it's only a certain segment.
But yeah, he decided against it because I think in his words, he said the game was already pretty inaccessible to begin with. In terms of like, the whole future segment, like the second half of the game. So they decided against that for making the whole game that way.
So if it was that way, it would be harder to complete, I guess. Less.
Yeah.
I mean, because you'd be reliant on your collectible lives, is what you're saying, I believe.
Yeah, and that's why the reason this run, the first run recover, is particularly special, because when I was going through the late game areas, I needed by origin like 150 deaths per 20 screens. And this guy does it with 0 the entire game, intended to kill you over again and again. And by time he did this, the developer, Tyler, he created an achievement to honor him called the Iron God, which has 0% completion on Steam. 0. And it's very possible, it's just really mean and difficult to do. So yeah, let's talk about you, Eenox.
All right.
So how many hours you took to master the game to this degree?
I currently have sitting around 650 hours in this game.
That's very impressive.
Yeah. A lot of that actually isn't playing the main game content. There was a decent modding community for a while, and I spent like 400 hours playing people's mods, a lot of them being harder or even much harder than the original game content. And that honestly was really good practice to get me used to the game mechanics like fully. It would and more so than if I just redid, because I'm relying more on like my mechanical skill and knowledge, like level to level, rather than just memorizing exactly what to do on every screen. I was actually comfortable with the controls completely. So I think that was actually pretty important in getting me good in general at the game.
Yeah, one of the lesser facts about this game that not much people know is that there's an unofficial level editor that was born out of official level editor.
Okay.
Yeah, it's you can just pick up tiles and place them. So modding this game is easier than some people might think it is. So there's quite a bit of content.
Okay, then just to clarify, Eenox did get the Iron God achievement that we were just talking about in the run we're going to watch. So
yeah,
that's pretty cool.
He's the only person in the world to do that as to date.
I think I'm the only one to do it without pause cheesing. Like, there's some people who there's one video on YouTube of the guy doing it, but he did like in Meatboy, how you could get the Deathless achievements by saving and exiting to the map, or like saving and quitting out of the level right before you die, so that you respawn at the beginning of the level, but it doesn't register that you died. You can complete it that way, and at least one person has done it that way. And there's since a few people to have been logged getting the achievement, but they have no recorded proof of it, so it could be Sam's, or it could, they could have done the pause cheesing or whatever. I am pretty sure I'm the only one to do it without doing those things.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's good to clarify. I mean, when it comes to achievements, I mean, people do anything, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and yeah, gotcha. Well, that's like the mentality is all I'm saying. Someone probably would. It sounds like that technique was used to save and quit. I mean, probably for the other ones.
It makes it make it way easier.
Yeah. One more thing I want to mention before the episode actually starts. So, the game's actually very consistent when it comes to individual screens, and each of them you enter from a particular direction, and they are mostly the same, so you can memorize them and the solutions to them.
Yeah, there's no RNG in this game at all, which makes it very nice. I took it for granted after I started to play other games that platformers that did involve RNG or even heavy RNG. I respect this game way more for having no RNG. It's a very nice touch. It makes it, like you said, consistent to play.
Yeah, it's really difficult but fair game, and it feels like your mistakes are truly yours for the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are going to be some enemy shenanigans, but we are going to talk about that after the enemies actually appear. The manipulatable enemies, at least. So, let's go over to the run.
Okay.
Awesome. All right, I should be good on my end if you guys are all ready.
Yep.
Okay, and we will begin then. 3, 2, 1, go.
How is this deathless if Ash dies in the intro cutscene?
That doesn't count.
Yeah, I know.
I know, but I just
Yeah, the basics of the plot is that the world has ended, and Ash's only console game that he's playing, it crashed, and he can't play it anymore. So he decides to go outside and kill his other friend.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a real video game collector, and he will go through any challenge, just those hellish endeavors to collect more of his games, and we will get to those mini games later.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, the end is a really beautiful area. That was another reason why I bought the game. Why are you waiting here?
Oh, I was reading this big comment on my Twitch stream. You'll see me do that occasionally, and sometimes I'll have to my splits were messing up, so I have to pause for a moment and fix those. That happened in the middle of the run.
I respect the time loss for reading chat.
Yeah, no, I literally was not paying attention to the timer whatsoever, because that would have just been stressful if I was actually trying to go fast as well. I just had it there because it was a free world record. You can see it says, or wait, is it on the stream? No, yeah. Oh, it doesn't have the title of it. So I was going for the 0 tumor category. That's not required to do Deathless. In fact, it's actually a little bit harder because there are some tumors that just get in the way and are harder to evade than to collect. But there's only a few screens like that, so I just incorporated strats to avoid getting them, just so I could get the 0 tumor. And I knew that if I did it Deathless...
The second world's already out. Yeah, I'm gonna say, tumors are those floating collectibles that sometimes behave weirdly. And they turn into lives in the second group. So the number of them is on the upper left corner. And it's going to matter a lot in the second run, which is 80%. And you have to actually collect quite a few of them in order to stand a chance in the second half of the game going fast. So any particular technique in the first 3 areas of the game?
Well, they're the easiest ones. basically, like, throughout the whole thing, you want to... The mechanics, it's kind of unexpected what makes things consistent. This game has buffer jumps. You have, like... I'm not sure if this number is completely accurate, but like maybe like 20 frames before you hit the ground to hold jump. And then it's the first frame you hit the ground, you will jump. So...
Yeah, jump buffering, right?
Exactly, yeah. And that you want to make strats that where you incorporate a lot of that, like you have visual cues and then you run into a screen and you want to just do full buffer jumps while holding one direction pretty much as possible. Now you can't do that anywhere, but things like that can make screens a lot easier. And one thing especially is you don't want to fast fall a lot, because normally like a good skill technique just to really to master that's like really important is fast falling, because it allows you to, instead of having to just manage your jump and how high you jump all the time and be at the mercy of hitting the ground like at whatever rate, you can completely control when you hit the ground, but like the timing and everything. So you can do a high jump and then hit the ground not long. Yeah,
Yeah, you're required to use fast fall well in order to complete retrograde, at least. So the game pretty much shows you into it just pretty early.
Yeah. So not fast falling, you just have a lot more time to react, and the speedrun part of it, you want to fast fall on the hooks and ledges a lot because that saves time. But in this, you're gonna see me do that never. And I'm actually a chronic fast faller. Like I fast fall all the time usually, just constantly for no reason. But you won't see me do that too much here because, like I said, when you're trying to go deathless and be careful, that's not ideal.
That's just like an extra variable in what you're doing, I guess is the idea.
Nice jump already.
Oh yeah, that one screen, overflow 6, that's the screen where you can just completely hold right and do buffer jumps or full buffer jumps throughout the entire thing, and it'll just work perfectly.
Oh yeah, let's explain what the weather is.
The world or the weather?
The water. Just
the water.
Yeah. About time.
So Overflow has toxic water and has water. Like it's called Overflow because there's water. It introduces the water mechanics. Water control is actually pretty good in this game. Yeah,
so many people just usually underwater levels like in Sonic and just whatever. Yeah, in here, water is actually pretty enjoyable to go around, and you can constantly jump on the edge of water.
Yeah. You can maintain your ledge jump speed in water, and that's utilized not a lot for me in here because I'm trying to play slow, but
that's usually a speedrun technique.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see that a lot in my run later.
Yeah, I didn't have to use ledge boosting into water in the main game.
Yeah, like I was talking about fast falling, a lot of players don't utilize that in their first playthrough, like pretty much at all, and it makes for it to be a lot more difficult, actually. But it is something that takes a little bit of getting used to, but I can't stress the importance of getting good at fast falling enough. Like it just takes your control to the next level.
Is that just a matter of holding down when you're in the air?
Yeah, you're in the air and you press down.
Yeah, this is where the game actually starts to branch out into 3 levels: Retrograde, Hollows, and the Wall of Sorrow. And why do you choose Retrograde first?
Because the machine path. So I actually went through picking the different split paths in different orders. Like pretty often. Like I switch between them in my any percent deathless runs because I consider the Wall of Sorrow and Exodus path to be the hardest, but sometimes like day to day I'd just be consistent at different ones. Like they all have like little choke points that play on different skill aspects of the game. In this one, it was my most consistent, I think. I practiced the machine a lot because the machine is really confusing, and if you don't practice those levels, then it's going to be really hard. And it's basically like a maze too. You have to... Yeah, I don't know. I can't finish that thought. I lost my... Okay, anyway. Retrograde is like probably the easiest through and through. Hollows, I would wager to say is the easiest, but the final screen for Deathless and Hollows is actually kind of difficult sometimes, but we'll see that later. Oh yeah, anyway, and I switched between them because I was like, I wanted to... What is it? Oh my god. I was like more nervous on for some reason, like on different times. Like it literally comes down to that. It's like you're tricking yourself. So like for the entire day, I would do one path, and then like my brain would be conditioned to get nervous on that later one, right? So what I would do is if I kept dying on the same one, then I'd switch it up and get it out of the way early, and then my practice on all the previous ones that I've gotten to many times that day, I'd be consistent on.
Nice. The psychological strats. Right
Yeah,
there.
exactly. No, I think about, that's what I think about that a lot. It actually was really helpful because this was, I think, the first run in a while, this one in particular that I switched it up, and it paid off. I got past friend percent, but the friend percent's not even the hard part at all. It's just really long and I almost want to say drawn out in the any percent deathless thing, but you know, it's just like, what can you do about it? In like the context of the whole game, like it's fine, but
Yeah.
it takes up like 26 minutes of the 45 here.
Yeah, so friend percent is the category that ends at the half of the game, and it's right before the anguish split. So one more thing. Yeah, how long does it take for poison gas or water to kill you? Like 2.5 seconds?
Yeah, somewhere around there. So you'll see Ash flashes white, and when he would have flashed white the fourth time is when he dies. And I think he flashes white. I actually don't even know the increment of time. Maybe it's like half second-ish, every half second-ish, or maybe to 0.7 seconds. Yeah, you'll see it later.
Yeah, there will be different kinds of water later too. So in the later chapters, the water will actually kill you faster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there's the
Normally,
flashing.
when you die, you have to redo one screen. Yeah, in the first half of the game. Later, it gets trickier. Yeah, those buttons to unlock walls. Yeah, staple of the platformer indie games of that time. Yeah, those hooks. Yeah, it's not very visible, but yeah, only the left one can be grabbed. Yeah, the rest are spikes. Yeah, and you can just take a breath. Walk out of the poison cloud even for a single moment, and the countdown for death. Yeah, it starts again. So you can spend another 2.5 seconds inside the cloud. It's very important during the late game stuff.
My bad. Clicked off the video there.
Yeah, in the last level of the game, it's faster. Yeah, bouncing on those enemies.
Yep.
Yeah, pretty safe level. Right now we are still kind of tutorial territory. But yeah, machine is interesting level because it introduces a lot of keys, and you have to use keys to progress to the other areas, and it really branches out. And so you backtrack to the levels you've been before, And yeah, it's easily the most convoluted level of the past.
Yeah, I think it was intended to be the last one you go to because, like,
Not only, like, it has 25% completion. It's the least on the Steam achievements compared to Exodus and...
oh, is it really?
Yeah, those are like 30%.
I think Machine is definitely the hardest ones of the past levels.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree.
It's also the longest by far in the speedrun.
Yeah, there's a lot of waiting screens. Like this one in particular is, like, I think is it the longest waiting screen?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, you have to wait for that block to takes forever to go down and go up.
Yeah, that's one of the specific of this game that, considering the game doesn't really have any RNG in it, you have to wait for favorable cycles sometimes, be it turret timings or baiting those enemies.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'd say feel free to point out any particularly troubling screens, by the way.
Yeah, I'm more paying attention to the run now and trying to...
Yeah, I think we talked about the basics of the game a good amount, so we can focus more on the Deathless and the survival strategy.
Yeah.
So you should point out particularly safe ways to do certain rooms.
Yes.
Or fast cycles that if you spend on them longer, you would have had trouble.
That's like, there's definitely much faster ways to do pretty much all of the screens that you're seeing me do.
Okay.
Or obvious. Well, yeah, no, you can do. Yeah, there's. No, I don't even think any of the strats besides the Overflow 6 strat. I think that's the only one that I matched the speedrun speed. But other than that, I'm taking. Yeah, you can go much faster.
So the next run we're gonna watch is gonna be.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a much better. Yes, and it's gonna be a much more, I think, interesting to watch. Like, while this is cool, Deathless and all, it's not the most like interesting gameplay. It's just you're just seeing really safe gameplay, and it pays off.
Pays off in the end.
It's okay. We cover survival too. So this area introduces the breakable walls at which you have to go at a certain speed, which can be achieved by either fast falling from a certain height or ledge boosting.
This screen was hard to come up with a safe strat for.
Enemies.
Because you have to wait for that skull in the middle, and it's... Yeah, I don't know. I don't even remember what I did. I did something, I guess, and it worked.
Yeah, this area really reminds me of the game closure that Tyler did earlier.
Yeah, I think that's literally what it was a tribute to.
Yeah, this wall is breakable.
And then this one also has toxic water.
Yeah, so whenever Ash is flashing, that means, he's about to die from that. And there are some pretty lengthy swims later. Yeah.
All right, this next screen is the one that's kind of Monka-esque. Like in the speedrun, like Hollow is otherwise easy, but then you got to do this fall here, and you have to do it perfectly. It's like I died on that one several times.
That looks pretty quick.
That's pretty. You can't go any slower. You're forced to go fast, and it's really scary.
I see.
So this is the attempt 118. So what was your previous experience with the game, and did you particularly have any method of practicing the areas?
So in terms of practicing for this, I think I practiced for like 20 to 30 hours, and actual attempts were 30 to 40 hours. And what I did was I went through and strat found for every single world individually, and then practiced them over and over and over and over and over again to get till I felt they were consistent, and then I'd move on to the next one, and then I'd do them like in sequence of each other, and just keep rinse and repeating that. And then once I felt like I was consistent enough on everything, I went for attempts. And then after going for attempts, I thought if I decided I wasn't consistent enough on something, or I was having trouble on particular things, then I'd go back and practice those.
Okay, here come the enemies.
Oh yeah. Okay, so these guys are I don't know like what the names are of pretty much any.
They are
of
in
these
credits.
things. Yeah, they're in the credits, but like I've not memorized them or cared to. I just call these guys. Or they're not even chargers, because chargers are like the slug things. That's something I actually do know the name of. I don't know. They're just meatballs that chase you. What if you get too close? They charge at you.
Yeah.
Might as well be. We have some spike timings here introduced. They go up and come down. And then we have the...
How are these things called in Legend of Zelda? Chain jumps, yeah.
Is that Zelda?
It's Mario. I think it's Mario.
That's pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah, they behave
Either
roughly
way.
the same way. You can move through the chain. You can just bait them and enter their radius.
Yeah, you meant
without-
Thwomp, I believe. Thwomp was the enemy name you were looking for.
No, I meant the.
He did
yeah,
gain the
the-
chain chomps.
Really? Oh, yeah, I guess there's chain chomps there too. Well, I guess.
Yeah, they're like, yeah. This has both of those things right here.
Yeah, lava kills you instantly.
Mind
And
them.
we have rising and falling lava that this is unlike any of the other water, like where it's like it's not free water and it's not toxic water. If you touch that, you instantly die. Now we're going on to what I consider, at least in the deathless part, was like the most scary. This like the Wall of Sorrow is a pretty like bare minimum in terms of the design. They really made the screens really large, but minimalistic, like as much as possible, and also really long. Like this screen, you have to wait a pretty long time, and it's rather huge.
Yeah, how much sorrow did it bring? This area.
A decent amount, I would say. In the speedrunning, like I actually did speedrun friend percent for a little bit, and I absolutely have even more hatred for this one, especially because we're gonna see up real quick. We're gonna be introduced to birds, which are actually my least favorite enemy in the game by far. They aren't RNG, but the manipulation tactics required for them are quite absurd in my opinion. I mean, it makes sense, but maybe I just haven't. It's something I haven't mastered yet, actually. Surprisingly, I've avoided it for as long as possible.
In general, everything in this game kills you in one hit.
Yeah.
Classic. And the birds. Everyone's favorite.
Here we go. First thing. On most of the screens, I avoid the birds, but on this next screen right here, okay.
Oh man.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I do.
Whoa.
That's actually like
Sick.
it's a consistent strat. Like it looks scary, but that actually works pretty similarly every time, and it's because I went on. So I came from immediately on the screen, held right the whole time, and then did a first frame buffered full ledge jump off of that ledge, and then you just move backwards, and as long as you land on the bird, then you just hold right pretty much, and it works out the same every time. And here we go. This is my favorite strat. You get bumped, they just give you like good luck. They're the bird bros.
Bird bros.
Yeah, that was a bit of a meme in my attempts. You just I don't know how. I was scared of that screen for a while actually before I started attempting or practicing, and then I just found a strat where you just get on one ledge and hang there the entire time, and it works perfectly every single time. And that was a nice relief, and it's pretty funny that they just bump you like that.
Yeah, the previous screen was pretty interesting. Just the game explores really all of the traditional platforming gimmicks. So you touched those two blocks, and how do you figure out that you needed to touch those two in particular?
Those you can get air, or were you talking about level 14?
No, 13. Like yes, well, somewhere like that. Like we.
I remember now. Yeah. Those are just like, well, in the speedrun they do that as well, but getting those two blocks, it's like the easiest to get air when you need it. That's basically the only thing. This is a level skip here, but it's pretty safe. And then here, okay, you're gonna see me. I remember specifically, I messed this up like twice, just not once. So I almost died once, 22 minutes in, And then I landed right next to the spikes twice. And then I had to reset the screen because I'm like, I don't know what happens after that point. That's actually for a lot of these screens that require cycles. I pretty much have to do them first try. I have to commit to the strategy, or because if I don't commit to the strategy and I wait, it's a higher likelihood that I die.
You don't want to. I was just saying, you don't want to dive into a random cycle that you don't really know by heart.
Yeah.
So when you mess something up, you are probably better off just restarting the level or like exiting and re-entering it. So
yeah, exactly.
you actually know what's
what I
happening.
wanted to say.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you re-enter the level, it resets all cycles, so they are exactly the same as you entered the level the first time. It's very helpful.
And this is one of the games that have different death cycles, but that's more important for the speedrun. But I think even in the speedrun, Marlin, do you like reset the screen still after you die sometimes, or did you learn death cycles too?
For some screens, it's definitely easier to just stick with the strat or cycle you know. So what's basically happening when you die, you respawn at a different spot that you would spawn in a certain level when you enter it.
Yeah.
So when you start like one tile more to the right, and you just hold forward the entire time, then you will reach certain enemies sooner. So some cycles might not work out the way they would usually.
Yeah. I think this is the only instance of me going to secret for a safety strategy right there.
Yeah, I kind of forgot. How many secrets does any percent triathlon involve?
I think just one in arid flats, right?
Yeah. So there are a lot of secrets like all over the chapters. I think there are.
Yeah, some of them hidden kind breakable blocks.
Yeah, probably 6 or 7 per chapter, or something like that. And we only visit one in the any percent route to skip 2 auto-scroller screens at the end of arid flats.
And you're done with the past. So
all right, now here's the really, really stressful part. This because I picked generally what was easiest first. Like I had the ability to do the hardest parts first in friend percent. But this is the true hardest part, and I can't pick the order of this one. So yeah, the platforming in this section is like, I don't know, 2 to 5 times more difficult than what we just saw.
So this is the rerun through. Is that what's going on now?
Yeah. So the world ended another time after you built your friends. Ash had a pretty crazy night with it, and he woke up, and I don't know if this is a dream or something, or if this is actually real. The lore of this game is really elusive. No one really knows what this game means. Actually, like I definitely don't know what this game means.
Only the developers know.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, some of these jumps are exactly as hard as they look. Like just building the timing properly.
All the mines here.
Anything that is really close that you're like, woo, like I have a visual cue for pretty much all of those because there's no way I could wing it every time. A lot of visual cues in the future actually. In friend percent, I could generally wing it, but this is where the strats really mean something.
Yeah, so
you really have to stick to the plan now more than ever.
Yes. Yeah.
Really comes to shine.
And it's really scary because this is the most stressful part. You just spent 25 minutes just to get to to attempt the hardest part again, and you can't really back down. Like you have to commit to the strategy the entire way through. Like, more so than in the entirety of the run. And it's scary, like because you get really close to enemies in this, really close to obstacles. To death, you graze death every time, and you just have to be unfazed by it.
Ed saying he wanted to quit game dev. Well, I'm so damn glad he didn't because it's one of my favorite platformers, and I'm even planning to take up 80% myself. This array is funny. You have to read. You have to develop the vision for these blocks, just how they move.
Strat finding on this screen was ridiculous. But those 2 blocks line up, and that was my cue.
Nice.
Like 2 blocks went right by each other. That was a nightmare to try and find a not super slow safe strat for.
Yeah, some of these balloons are evil, and they will drag onto you slowly. And you have to sometimes lure them to make specific jumps, such as this one.
Yep.
Right over it. It was very close.
Yeah, it could be closer. This one looks scary, but if you jump before a certain point on that first platform, you always, every single time, grab the ledge of that second floating block. This one looks daunting, but nothing really. I don't know.
Yeah, but in just for the blind run, everything is exactly as hard as it looks.
Yeah.
I guarantee that.
Yeah, when you play this game casually, you will always have to look at the top left corner because that's where your life counter is. And
yeah, so you better collect enough. Yeah, done your homework on the collectibles.
Yeah.
I'd say like
you got
150 is enough to finish the game.
Yeah, maybe. Gloom is a pretty hard world. There's a lot of the cycles with the chargers and stuff. And that looked scary, but again, that was pretty calculated. Doing a full jump timing.
Actually skipped a part of the level there.
Yeah.
Strats.
Yeah, that was actually like a pretty free jump, so I incorporated it myself. What's the next screen? Oh, right, it's this one.
Wow, that was a scary boost.
Was it? I didn't.
Well, you just dive onto that platform.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have done that.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, there's a lot of things that I'm sure, like, if less experienced players tried to do this, they'd probably be even more safe than I'm being. But I'm just really comfortable with the controls as a whole. Like, you can see at this point in the run, even I trust my ability to make a jump like that.
Yeah, so you should buffer your jumps before, like, every time you're about to hit a skull or any enemy that you can jump on.
This level was kind of tricky with the timing.
Yeah, if you aren't holding jump already, you will not be able to regulate your jump height, and you will just bounce off at the minimal height. So it's very important to prepare your jump.
This one was hard to strat find for as well. Like, these guys are just everywhere.
Man. Yeah, 12 is, it was pretty scary for me too.
I'm proud of this safe strat. Like, yeah, a lot of these are just, there's a cluster of so many things on the screen that you have to try and make sense of. That's like really what Gloom is all about now that I'm realizing. Like, a lot of enemy usage. I think maybe like even the most out of the entire game. A lot of moving enemies. Yeah, they incorporate things, not a lot of like newly introduced enemies at this point, I don't think either. Like in Gloom, they just kind of reuse a lot of what's already been seen. All of the, I don't know, floating bubblehead guys. I think they're called Aganyas, but there's like slight variations of that name depending on like the face that they're making.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
I've noticed if you do the screen faster, it's easier. Because otherwise, yeah, those blobs can fuck you.
Man, those little guys move fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, Aquas, what are you experiencing, Aquas? Tell us.
Some well-calculated gameplay, I don't know.
Yeah, like, would you say that it reminds you of Gimmick in some way, like those star jumps? For me, it does.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I don't know. There's no star throwing, no star riding.
Well, yeah, kind of. You went for the save cycle at the previous, right?
I think so. I forget what the last screen was.
Yeah,
but
it was a pretty
likely.
safe
It's
cycle.
pretty likely that that's what I did. it looks weird. You see me do a weird full jump there. That was for timing purposes. You'll see me do weird things like that. Yeah, that's something I'll do for timing. Like I'll do like a bunch of buffered full jumps and count them to get the perfect safe cycle that I figured out or something. So things like that, like really weird strats, but paid off for like consistency. Now here is fish. Fish are my favorite enemy, no joke. Like a lot of people hate them, but a lot of people like to use them in the mods because they thought they were annoying, but it actually backfired because I completely mastered the fish at this point.
Yeah, I like the fish too, as a casual player. I think they're very fun. It's just that you need to learn to kind of bait them, because they always dive in the same direction.
Nice room.
Yeah,
yeah,
like,
so kind of like shmup bullets.
now Blight is the or a lot of these is like a Dark World variant. Like all these future worlds are like akin to Super Meatboy Dark World variations. They're like playing on some of the past levels or worlds. Blight is like a Dark World version of Overflow. You can see all the water, and I don't think fish weren't in Overflow. Are they actually only in Blight?
I think they weren't. There were only like those circly thingies.
Okay, yeah.
You're being yelled at in chat to talk about Blight 6.
Blight 6. Okay, so there's there's a jump right here where you see that like ledge above the button there? You can, if you have like the frame perfect, sub-pixel perfect position, you can grab that ledge. But I'm not sure what exactly like the coordinates are in relative to the platform there, but any jump exactly that distance away is like you have to have the perfect sub-pixel position and jump at exactly the right time. And so you can't really, I don't think we know how to manipulate sub-pixel position in this game reliably, because that's something that just doesn't need to be figured out. But it makes use of, there's like a perfect timing you can jump right after falling off a block. Oh, that's a mechanic in this game. There's a really lenient coyote jump timing, which I don't know.
Oh well, yeah.
Is it internet or something? I guess.
No, it's Marlin. Yeah. He left for some reason, but okay, he'll be back.
Oh, what was I saying? Oh yeah, coyote jumps. So yeah, there's really like after falling off a block, you have a decent number of frames to jump, and you'll literally see him dip, like start falling in midair, but you can jump still. So if you see me jump like late on the edge of a platform, just know that the timing is like way more lenient than it looks.
Oh, okay.
And that actually, the last jump of the run even utilizes that, which is, it looks scary. I didn't even realize it was kind of close, but the final jump of this entire thing actually is a little bit close.
Okay. Yeah. You talk about water jump? That particular one?
Oh, wait. Oh, yeah. Water jumping. Sorry. I thought that was more of like, I didn't even think about that. It would make sense to me to let Marlin talk about that, but it doesn't really matter. So water jumping is a thing where you can get a lot of extra height when jumping out of water by fast falling on the surface of the water, like at the perfect time for just a few frames, and then holding jump. You'll get like twice the height, if not more even. I don't think I utilize it in my run here.
Yeah, it's certainly an advanced technique.
Yeah, I am pretty good at it, but I didn't want to, like, I could have utilized it here, but I don't trust my consistency that much to, like, as opposed to, in any situation where I would water jump, there's generally, like, a much easier strat that I could do without doing it. The screen after this one was, like, my most prized strat, the strat I'm most proud of. So you can buffer a jump while entering a screen transition to get a first frame jump in the room. And what I do is I do first frame full jump there, and then I did a buffered full jump on that first platform, and then just perfectly baits both fish to where you don't even have to worry about them. So
yeah,
that
clever.
is, yeah.
That buffering really coming in handy, huh?
Yes. You don't need to use it everywhere, but the buffering, it's very nice.
This helps you stay consistent.
Yes, that makes consistency huge. This game would be a lot different, and the strats would look a lot different if you couldn't buffer jumps, I'm pretty sure. Because then everything would just be like, what's the least likely way for me to die, instead of having 100% chance of success, you know?
I guess I would guess it probably helps casually too, to know that.
Welcome back.
At
Yeah.
least a little bit.
Yeah, hi. My internet connection just went out, so sorry.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
Oh,
let's
you're
continue. So
Nah, the luck
it's
is on my side.
Last screen of Blight.
Yeah, 37 minutes in doing platforming like this, by the way. It's like,
So
I can't-
when did nerves start kicking in for this
oh
run?
my god. For this run, as soon as you get in the future, so you start to
Oh,
get
yeah.
increasingly more nervous. Then when you get to the future, like, you're as nervous as your body can handle, pretty much. Like, I don't think your body could literally be any more nervous than when you get to the future
Wow.
for the first time. And
Sounds
any
pretty
person-
rough.
it's terrible.
Yeah, there's a threshold. Yeah, I think that it's for certain people it's just downright impossible to win this kind of achievement without just suffering some health issues.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Part of the challenge,
don't
though.
You have to have several chokes and fails to get the nerves down. That's like the
Yeah.
only way. That's what happened here. So my PB before this run was Ruin 17, for context. So I didn't even get to the final world, which is Acceptance. So you're seeing me do Ruin here, and Acceptance is an escape sequence, a timed escape sequence that's just doing this entire world in reverse. So every screen that you're seeing here was designed to be able to be done backwards and forwards. So that's why they might look a little bit
it's
off.
easier, intentionally.
Yeah. And this introduces a lot of like one-off mechanics, this world. Like, so you see these mines on these screens. That's actually I think my favorite mechanic in the game. They just give you like a lot of height and speed, and they're really fun to, I don't know, mess around with. Or it's just strats, including them, are very satisfying to pull off.
Oh man, I hated this screen when.
Yeah, you have to let it shoot twice, and then you go up, like that turret on the top left. And then, so yeah, here's another mechanic, Ghosts. And also this toxic water, as Marlon mentioned earlier, kills you significantly faster than the earlier toxic water, so you can't stay in it for very long. You probably don't remember, but Ruin 3 is a room where it pretty much uses the very outer limits of the timing. So you get really close to dying just from the toxic timer.
It looks like it's like bubbling more fiercely down there now.
Oh, yeah. And is this laser? This is, yeah. So now we got eye laser. This is like,
Ooh.
so many weird one-off mechanics in this. In Ruin, it's really, like, the first time casually, you might call it like the hardest future world just because it introduces so many new things, but it actually, I think, is one of the easier ones in my opinion. Like, after you learn it.
So where are your just most deaths in order? Attempts lost.
I think most deaths were to Gloom, I believe. Gloom and Blight. Those were or not. I mean, those were my future. As for my future chokes, before that, in Friend, I didn't really. I don't think had a place where I can. Yeah, this is scary. And also, yeah, that is really. There's nothing you can do there. You just got to do it. And then this final jump here is really precise. So like,
also,
I freaked out when I got that. And then
one thing you mentioned.
You're just freaking out at this point.
Yeah, the sphere sucks you in, so it pulls you to the left.
Oh
the last
yeah.
few screens.
starting at Ruin
So it's
16,
harder than yeah.
you like it starts continuously pulling you to the left. So whenever you move right, you move slower, but whenever you move left, you move faster.
Oh,
and when you are getting there for the first time casually, you're like, I thought there was something wrong with my keyboard. I thought my keyboard broke. I'm like, what? Or like if you're using a control, I'm like, how would my keyboard break? That doesn't make any sense. But if you're playing with a controller, then you'd probably be more apt to thinking that there's something wrong with the controller. But no, it's an actual game mechanic, and you get no answers until you get to Ruin 20, where you see your friends and a giant floating, glowing orb. That apparently, yeah, it apparently has some gravitational pull, but now we're past that. And yeah, so far as like the psychological elements, that's just Deathless things, especially this long, like 42 minutes.
Yeah, that's a lot of time to invest.
Yeah, it's really, really stressful. At this point, I wasn't like, I don't think my brain had any extra processes going on besides.
Okay, Aquas, you need to change the music for this one because it gets intense.
I got it.
Yeah, because the nuke's going off and you have to run to the shelter.
Okay.
Yeah, the world ended 2 times. Yeah, it was just
2 times.
And this time it's for real.
Yeah, and it's for real time. Ash finally dies, and that's the only time he's happy in the game.
Well, yeah. Also, yeah, the screen, reminds me of that. Yeah, the nightmares of that guy who did Missile Command for arcade. Yeah, which was the 80s arcade game, and yeah, its game over screen is giant at the end. It's a certainly shout out to that.
And this screen is the last clench screen, because the toxic timers, and also surprise fish at the bottom of the screen. That's cool.
Oh, great.
Oh, and
well, you knew about that, so it wasn't a surprise.
Yeah. And now look at this final jump here. It's like
GG's.
pretty close. There it is.
Oh,
and then
wow.
I switched the screen transition. You're gonna see it's gonna be weird. Yep.
The pop off.
The pop off, dude! I was so happy.
You had the other screen ready to go.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I made it like a week in advance. I mean, I could have just never did it, and they would have just sat there forever. But luckily, I did.
You prepared. Everything was planned.
It was.
Congrats.
Right.
That was great.
Yeah.
And you made a lot of achievement hunters angry.
Yeah, a lot of people's 100% were ruins because it was hard enough to get 152% on a save file and all of that, like getting Dead God. People thought that was one of the top tier Steam achievements to get, but this one is pretty primo, pretty ultra primo. Like, yeah, it still clocks as 0.0%. So I think like if it was more well known, people would have probably sammed it more times. But since it's kind of like a late game added achievement, a lot of people don't know about it. So yeah, I'm sure there's plenty of people who played through this game completely and got 152%, don't even know there's an achievement added because they haven't checked the game.
Yeah, that's a really nice tester list. Famous people there. Derek Yu and Matt Thorson, for example. Yeah, and Sven Ruther, who is actually the artist for Fire Lancer and a common shmup for, how's it called? Yeah, WonderSwan.
Okay. So since you got the Any Deathless, have you gone back to playing the category, or are you just like, I'm happy I did it, mic drop?
No, no, I've after I did Any Deathless, I had plans to learn the Any speedrun, and I wanted to try and get the world record in that one. But I only ever practiced Friend Percent and got a pretty decent time in that. But then I quit the game for a while again after that. I forget why. I think some video game or something. But yeah. I'm back again, and I don't think, I have no intention of leaving anytime soon. I need to put this game... I don't know when I'll be satisfied with it, to be honest. Because there are other Deathless achievements that are like... potentially could be added into the game, such as getting all the collectibles in the game without dying, and then there's doing all the game content without dying. Those are two, which, I mean, those are astronomically harder than what you just saw, but...
Yeah, and everyone's pleading you to not do it.
Yeah, but
Stop
like,
making
that
the
would
game
be...
harder.
Like, a person like could come back to this game who got Dead God and in a semi-reasonable amount of time get Iron God, I think, if they really dedicated some practice. But if I ever got those achievements, I would just say give up.
So those achievements do exist that are out there still to get?
No, they're not added into the game. Like,
Okay.
so the way they did it is like they have the code for them to add into the game already. Like, they were originally going to go into the game, but then they decided against it. But they still exist, and if anybody does it, then you just tweet at the developers your live stream or something, and then they'll go and add the achievement in for you, and then you can go and get it.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so I like that style of like really insane achievement edition more than like.
Did you say that was the case with this Any Deathless, that it was added because
it was
you got it?
Yes.
I see.
So I should have said this way before. Tyler made a tweet like a month before the game came out, saying that if anybody did the entire game Deathless on live stream, that he would add a special achievement just for them. His words were exactly that. So that's what enticed me to go for it in the first place.
Oh, wow. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, fix Discord overlay.
What now?
Discord overlay, bring it a bit down.
Oh, my bad.
Okay.
Sweet.
And now we are going to our any % run, which is going to be faster, and it will take more risks and faster strategies and
more deaths.
More, but not too many more.
Yeah, so
in all fairness.
Yeah. The first thing to talk about is how much does a runner prepare for the second part of the game, just by yardage? Like, how many extra lives do they want to bring?
It really depends on for basically what time you're going for. So grabbing more tumors in the past section of the game, in the first section of the game, will obviously lose a bit of time, because some of them, even though they take very little time, like when you only go for 20 or 30, most of them take less than 1 second to grab, because a lot of them are very much in your path. But for the time I was going for, I pretty much only went for the tumors that were in my direct path, that basically didn't lose any time. So I'm not sure how many exactly I got, but I think it's somewhere around 15 or something. So, and that's still way more than I was hoping to die in the future chapters, but you never know. Maybe if you take a lot of quick deaths, it's still possible to get a PB.
Yeah, it's 15, and also small reminder: you don't have to, use all of these extra lives for your entire game. Every 20 screens when you hit the warp in the future, the tumors restore.
Yeah.
And you only have to redo that particular screen. I mean, level, world. So that's pretty much it. Yeah, there's a wonderful run.
So if you have like 15 lives, and then you go to and you die a bunch in that section, you go to the next section, you get them refilled?
Yes.
Up to 15?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the lives just only apply per world in the future. So it's not the entire thing. That would be a little more insane.
Sounds like it's
and
going
it
to be
would take quite a bit more preparation too.
Nice little friend skips there. So like if you pause right as you collect any of the friend pieces, you can save like several seconds from a potential animation that would otherwise show up. And that's a kind of important.
Yeah, so that actually you did it also in your run. Like, it's not necessary for Deathless, but it's still cool to save those 2 seconds, I guess.
Yeah, no, I save as much time as possible. It takes long enough. And there's no risk of going for it, unlike like Celeste has a retry button on the pause menu. So like if there was something like that in that game, at least there's no like retry button in on the pause menu. There is a retry button in this game that a lot of people don't even know about because you don't really need to use it, but there's a quick kill instant button in this, so which is useful for speedruns. So if you know you messed up and like you're about to die or something, you can save some time by just killing yourself before you actually died.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Marlin a little bit. So how many just hours of experience with the game you understood that, yeah, this is my game, I want to speedrun it? To any percent?
Basically, after I finished the game for the first time casually, I wasn't that familiar with like speedrunning in general at that time. So this was actually my first game that I speedran like, for
cool.
more than a couple of hours, I guess. And I actually wasn't part of the community from the beginning, so I joined a couple of months after the game was released. Oh, it wasn't that much, but I think a month or two. So, but I was playing the game casually, and I saw that there was a speedrunning community around the game, or a community in general. So, yeah, I just basically started to play the game again after I finished it once, and it's been a great time. So, I spent a lot of hours in it.
Awesome, man. First speedrun and pretty intense one. That's pretty interesting.
This is actually the first game I speedrun, and I haven't really speedrun it that much.
Oh,
but
you too.
That's what I plan on getting into.
That's pretty cool.
Very soon.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, both started on this one.
Yeah, like this. It's just like disappointing. This game hasn't been pushed as far as I think it could. So that's
we should start the replay right by now.
Okay.
We've been talking about countdown ready.
All right, we're gonna get it going then with Marlin's world record speedrun here of The End is Nigh. All right, 3, 2, 1, go. So yeah, I mean, like about 15 minutes faster than the Deathless run. So this is gonna look quite a bit different.
Yeah, this will be a lot more engaging to watch, and things will go by a lot faster. Not drawn out like some of the screens.
Yeah, and in the in-game audio is present too.
Okay, nice. Let's get that going.
Yeah, feel free to point out anything that differs from the previous replay.
Okay. Wait, basically
Nice.
everything. Like
Basically, I will not wait around and recollect my nerves, I guess.
Yeah.
So we don't have time for that.
That's true. That's something I haven't really thought about too much. But I think doing waiting and like hesitating. I did that at first on some of my first attempts. When I first got into the feature, I'd take a minute to like breathe. But I feel like that ended up backfiring because then like I was less warm, and it's best to just get into it. You're not gonna play any better because you waited. You have to just force yourself to go into it.
That tumor grab in N13, it was really precise because you just grabbed the spike wall.
Yeah, that's actually a setup. So if you just hold left there, when you just release the ledge, you actually fall directly onto the ledge.
Oh, yeah.
And grabbing that tumor actually doesn't lose any time because you have to wait down there anyway for the blocks to fall down.
Yeah,
that's something. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I thought this game was kind of built around speedrunning. Like in certain times, it kind of felt that the developer planned for some faster cycles to be easier. Like in Red Flats, you're gonna do that the drop-in block thingy later. Yeah, about here. Like there are secret kind of block thingies that you can activate by touching the wall and they will fall down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we can grab that tumor down there because this is also just a waiting room basically.
Yeah, I'm talking about the 7th screen.
Yeah, on
This
the
fast
7th
track.
screen. Yeah.
Yes, this one. It's the most
Oh, neat.
iconic. I think that's the first like secret speed strat that I was aware of.
First death, I think.
Yeah, that jump around the block is not that easy. So normally
Yeah.
you would wait for the spring to go all the way to the right of the screen, but we can just jump around that block and grab it from the other side. It's not that easy, and we can actually here skip this enemy. It's kind of precise, but there's a visual cue for when you should start your jump from the block, and then it will probably work every time.
Oh, did you go around the secret area yet? I don't remember.
Yeah, he went through the secret area.
Yeah, the secrets are marked by the question marks at the bottom right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the secret is right now.
Yeah. Oh yes. Here we go.
So,
And it was actually
several areas when you have to collect certain things. You have to enter the screen from the right instead to do certain setups.
Yeah.
And so the spring drops and gives you the access to the area that skips the last part of the world.
Yeah,
And,
there are 2 very long screens that you can skip with that, where you would normally just sit around for a couple of seconds, and that's pretty slow, so we don't do that.
Yeah, it was an intended secret, actually. Like in the GDQ interview, Tyler said he knew speedrunners would use that, and that's the only time we see Tyler's levels, because Tyler made all of the secret areas, I believe, or most of them.
Yeah, I think so.
He's a freaking
And-
sadist that he is.
Yeah, Edmund designs all pretty much the main levels that you're seeing.
That was a cool
Oh,
room.
so apparently, yeah, there is some difference in the styles, like how they build challenges.
Yeah, I think Tyler's
It's
more.
noticeable.
Yeah, Tyler knows more of like puzzle platforming. Like all the secrets involve some sort of puzzly type stuff.
Yeah,
But-
enemy manipulation in particular.
Yeah. Oh wait, there's some mechanic that I forgot to mention. You can you can auto ledge grab. That's
press
something.
down.
Yeah, if you press down, like you duck as you walk off a ledge, you'll automatically grab onto it. And that is, I mean, if that wasn't the case, you'd have to do some weird movement where like left-right movement or right-left movement.
It would be inconsistent.
That's
otherwise.
Yeah, which it would be. Yeah, so I didn't know that was a feature in my casual playthrough for. Oh my gosh, I almost got 100% in the game, and then I finally learned that it was a thing, and it made it so much
Really?
easier. Yes.
But the NPC tells you how to do it, and I think there is even a pointer.
I don't know. I don't know if it was there on release. I don't know. Don't quote me on this, but somebody told me that like on release it wasn't a feature, and then they added it in an update. And I don't know if that NPC existed before, because I did. There's no way I missed on an NPC.
Any reason to go wall of sorrow first on the speedrun?
I mean, not really. It's not faster to go in any direction really. But it's like the
But
same
there-
for
there-
when you try
There's like
Deathless.
logic. Yeah.
It's
there's
just
like
like
logic.
preference, yeah.
So there's like logic that you would pick the path that would be the hardest, like the one you're worst at, and lose the most time on. So while you're retrying the attempt, you would just approach it first and then get it out of the way early.
Yeah, I mean, and Wall of Sorrow is definitely a chapter where you can lose a lot of time really quickly, because there are a lot of very long and hard and inconsistent rooms.
So nice, Jeff. How consistent your bird hopping is?
Well, I mean, it really depends from screen to screen, because the setups are slightly different in each room.
Yeah.
Doesn't take a long time to learn.
Yeah, so in one of the previous rooms, you can actually turn around one of the birds. And yeah, I failed the strat in this room. So normally you would ride one of the birds all the way to the top, but it turned around the second I first jumped on it, and it wasn't supposed to happen. But
I didn't know you lost that. I would have reset if I was doing 10% runs. I would have reset already. My standards are way too high for speedrunning. That's something I really need to lower, because I reset so much, and like I have like 2 like what I would consider big time losses, and I'm already done. I'm like, no.
I mean, for any percent, like even if you lose a lot of time, that was a bad one. Even if you lose a lot of time in friend percent, there's still a lot of time usually to gain in the future chapters. And my future in my PB wasn't that great, so I just figured if I got a decent friend percent or friend part into the future, I definitely still have chance to PB.
Nice little trick. So when you reach Exodus, I noticed that you can just warp and save a few seconds because you immediately appear on the platform.
Yeah.
That's much easier too. Like having to time those cannonballs might actually be the hardest cannonball sequence thing that you have to do, but you can just completely skip over it.
The first, the very first one.
Yeah.
Or the second. Oh, okay.
Yeah. The second one's free because I think you just do buffer jumps and it gets you like, you do like a full buffered ledge jump and it gets you perfectly into a cannonball.
Okay. So what are your favorite levels to speedrun the world?
I don't know. It's really like all have their different like best levels, I guess.
Yeah. Those two Tomorrow pickups were pretty free because Exodus has a lot of sort of auto-scrolling stuff, and you have to wait for it either way.
Yeah.
So it's easy to gain some extra pickups here.
I personally like Hollows.
Yeah, Hollows is really fun to speedrun because it's very fast. We will see that.
I noticed this.
That bullet was so close.
Yeah, it's a little close. It's scary, that one. Like even in my run, I think I got pretty close to it, but my strat was consistent with it. But yeah, you grazed
Oh,
it.
sick grab there. Yeah. Is there another, what's the way to set up it? Set up. Do you know, remember? Like the one between like 4 these swarms?
You mean like when you do a ledge jump and just grab the last one of them?
No, it wasn't the last. It was like the 4th one out of the 6.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's actually more consistent than it looks, I think. So,
oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and here in Retrograde 3 and 4 are very interesting because you can skip the cycles. Let's see that.
Yeah, it's actually really hard to do because on those platforms that are like on those broken platforms, if you press down and jump at the same time at all, then you fall in between them. Like that's the intended mechanic is you hold down and then you press jump and you fall through it. But if you want to fast fall on them and be optimal, you can only fast fall up until the point right before you jump, or else you're gonna flub it up and lose a bunch of time. Or I mean, relative to the hard strats on those screens are pretty difficult to do. So it's not like
the deal with crumbling blocks is that when you touch them, there is still some time to just latch into them and go up and jump up them. I don't know how it is, like 1 second or something.
Yeah, I do really enjoy the soundtrack as I've been listening to it, watching the game. It's unique like Meatboy, but also good. Well, I mean, unique as far as its classical remixes, but I think it's pretty great. It fits the game really well.
Yeah, I like how it's put in the credits. Yeah, the music by Ridiculon and a bunch of old dead dudes.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Is it all remixes?
Yeah,
Or
it's
is there
all
original-
remixes of classical music.
There's no original?
No original.
Oh wow. It's
Like
kinda
there
hard to
are
tell.
parts, like particularly in Giuseppe Verdi's DSRI, yeah, which is the future track. There's this guitar riff that's not in the like. There's no melody for it in the original Requiem, but still, I recommend you to listen to the original because I actually discovered it after playing the game.
Getting into some
And
classical
it's,
music.
and it's epic. Yeah.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
I even learned something while playing this. Yeah, worth the money. Okay, any particular key shenanigans in this stage?
Yeah, basically those light pillars or something.
Yeah.
I don't know what you want to call it. You kind of float in them and can move up and down.
Yeah, it's kind of like water, but not quite.
Like a track. Oh, I was
Yeah.
gonna ask about those tractor beam things. Okay.
Yeah, basically you also preserve your momentum when you jump through them. And there's a weird mechanic where you fast fall just before you jump out of them and gain a little bit extra height. And we use that like in basically all of the screens where they are in.
Yeah,
think.
since let's jumping is faster than just moving on the ground. The more ledges there are on your path, the better. That's what's demonstrated on just a few floors ago.
Yeah, he does
So
way
he
more
just-
ledge jumps.
Yeah, constantly just
Unbelievable.
regrabs them and hops to the next one because it's easier than just jumping and fast falling.
Can you buffer the jump after you fall down a ledge? And grab a
yeah,
ledge.
I think so.
I'd
a
imagine
little
that'd be
bit of-
helpful.
Yeah.
You just grab the ledge when pressing down when you walk off.
It's like
And you stick
Yeah.
it.
so it's like
you
it's
can
doing
buffer that
the
too.
so it's like doing the down ledge animation and then you're buffering the jump.
Yes, yeah, you can buffer
Essentially.
the jump for a ledge jump, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That makes sense.
And he waits here because there's no reason to, since he has to wait, it's an auto scroller anyway, and he has to wait for that platform. He can just hang out for a while, literally.
The puns are so deadly.
Yeah, actually, like there's a little difference in routing. In my run, I go for another key, the key in the upcoming room. Oh, I died there. Okay. So Eenox actually got another key that was supposed to be there for secret to skip that key that I just got.
Yeah,
Probably because it's just safer to go for the other one.
yeah.
But this one is, I think, a little bit faster because
Yeah,
it's
it
just in
is.
your
I'm pretty
way.
sure. Yeah.
And this screen has a pretty nice setup where you just hold jump for the first pillar and then you just avoid the bullets automatically if you do the right inputs at the right time.
All right. Hollows, blink and you'll miss it. This goes, is this the fastest split? This has to be.
Yeah, by far, I think.
Yeah, this is really makes up for how long Machine is.
Okay, yeah. Edmund and Tyler, if you're ever watching this, which I doubt, but still, you are great. Just for finishing, just going through hell of development this game, because I think it really paid off. It might have been not just this popular, but those who are into it, they do appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, any Meat Boy fan has got to be in the know on this game, right?
Yeah, like I'm
I mean,
pretty
pretty much.
sure. Yeah, it's not like it's unknown
It's
to
just,
them. I think.
I think Meat Boy just, it was mentioned earlier. I mean, that was a groundbreaking game, and
Yeah.
this is just like more of that. But if you like
It was
it's
one
great.
of the first indie games that went mainstream, just attention. I think.
It's pretty awesome that they didn't let it get to their head too much, and they made another game,
Yeah.
like this, etc. I don't know, just feel worth mentioning maybe. There's that room again.
Yeah, and did it at a similar pace, less mental preparation time.
Yeah, this is the last chapter before we go into the future.
Okay.
How do you do that fast fall? Like, how just where exactly do you start it? So to land just directly down there. It's very precise.
Yeah, it's not that easy. So basically, I have it down in muscle memory. Basically,
Yeah,
I can't describe it really. So
Yeah, I've done it before, and I don't think there's no like way you can make a visual key for it. I don't think you just kind of get a feel for it, and it's a quick death if you die too,
yeah,
because you just fall straight down. So might as well go for it once.
Yeah, you can really
if you go
tell.
fast enough. Yeah, you don't even need to manipulate the enemies particularly because you'll just outweight them.
Exactly.
Yeah, you guys have like really broke it down to like minimize as much, improv that you would have to do. So it's really interesting.
Yeah, since it's the same every time, you pretty
Very
little
consistent
improv.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
guess
here's another good time save that you can just bait the thwomp and then just hop off that ledge and just straight down break these breakable blocks. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're actually supposed to move the block so that it will break the blocks for you.
Yeah, that's the normal path. Nice jump over the top, chomp. Everything's on such strict timing.
Flashbacks to the race. At least he didn't mess it up this time.
Yeah, that last room is kind of precise too. Like most of the jumps are not really. You can't do a full jump. You have to do a mid-long jump or something like that. So
here comes Butt Clench City.
yeah, true.
So is it
having
so
60
is it like
lives.
mostly like they add the mines into the stages, or like are they remixed in other ways? Or
I mean, they are pretty much redesigned completely, and they put a bunch of spikes everywhere.
okay. It's pretty much
they
an
do,
overhaul. Okay.
Yeah, they do add a lot of the little mine guys or whatever.
Like the idea of most from most of the levels are kind of similar, I guess, but the way you have to get through them is very different.
Okay.
Yeah, it's an overhaul in a sense that sometimes you drop a bucket of paint all over your room, and that's the overhaul of your room. You just call it that.
All right.
So yeah, you can call it overhaul in that sense because the world is fucked twice
Nice skip there.
by this way.
Woo!
Oh yeah, great. Yeah, you can just
So
move past
you got
it.
under that mine. Was that because you landed that you're able to, or was there something I
You
missed
get plenty
there?
of air control in this game.
Yeah, like in that one room where you can skip waiting for the platform to rise and then to get down again on the other platform. You can just move past the enemies.
Something worth mentioning is that Marlin's a controller player and I'm a keyboard player, but our gameplay, at least our fast gameplay, doesn't look that much different. You can get away with both for sure.
Yeah,
That's
there's
cool.
pretty much no difference between like playing on controller and keyboard. At least if you use the D-pad and don't use the analog triggers for the fast forward.
I'm challenging the STG Weekly regulars to beat it on arcade stick just to settle the score.
Yeah, I play on D-pad and use for the fast forward buttons. I use the shoulder buttons because they are digital inputs. And yeah.
What kind of controller do you use? Do you remember?
For that run, I think I used the Xbox One controller, but that broke a couple of months ago, so I don't use that anymore for like playing platformers and stuff.
Sad.
But yeah, I actually started running this game on Xbox 360 controller, and the D-pad on that controller is very, very bad.
Okay, but yet
You don't know, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gus is the guy who who played the shmup exactly, longer than Eenox went for Iron God. And he uses the 360 pad.
As I understand, like, there are bad 360 pads, and then there are, like, better ones that came out later. I don't know.
Really?
Maybe.
I don't know.
We need an
So I hear.
expert.
I'm not an expert, so. Or like those third-party like D-pad attachments.
Maybe.
Something like that anyway. But okay, so you just use the Xbox controllers. Cool.
Yeah, I've noticed that at Gloom 12, if you go fast, you pretty much don't have to deal with half the enemies. That's very cool. So going fast is actually beneficial for your health.
Yeah, it is. You avoid a lot of enemies and pretty much everything.
I died at the beginning of Gloom 14. You can actually use like the way the enemies are set up to just jump on 2 of them in a row to get up to that hook, like from basically entering the screen. It's pretty nice, but it's kind of precise. You have a very small window to jump when you enter the screen.
That's pretty snazzy.
Yeah, and Gloom 18, the upcoming room, is probably one of my favorite rooms because it's just goes so
Really?
fast. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the
Sick.
speed strat. He does like.
It's very hard to do, but it's very fun to get it.
Nice.
I didn't know that you could duck to avoid that particular.
Yeah. Oh, no one did
asteroid.
for a long time. We like.
Oh.
I don't know if I figured. No, someone figured out that like the hitbox for those huge, Kukos. That's what those like spikes, like the spike balls are called. Someone figured out that those hitboxes are actually really lenient and that you can duck under that one, and it allowed for a nice little speed strat. I think that's like the fastest or like one of the fastest iterations of that. Of that room. Anyway.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a good speed game in that sense that you can easily notice your improvement. Because stuff is consistent normally.
Yeah.
I'd have to imagine, like, as you were breaking down the game, you had, like, rooms that you take an easier strat for, and then later on you'd implement a harder strat. Was that something that happened as you were doing it? Yeah.
Like for example, I don't think anyone goes for that one strat in Retro 4 that I did. At least I haven't seen it from anyone. But I just practiced it a lot and got pretty consistent at it.
Yeah,
I figured I should do it runs.
Yeah. I'm glad we're looking at both of your runs because it's like so much of the game is like the routing and figuring out each level that we get to see kind of the 2 different play styles, but it's going to be a different experience for the player themselves figuring out each room on their own. It's not like we're going to remember how to do these rooms after this.
Oh god.
So.
Yeah, that's like
but it's
memorizing.
Like, there's a lot of like remembering the rooms and whatnot,
Yeah, that's honestly like a large part of it. Like either Deathless or whatever, just strats in general. This game, everything's the same. It just is completely memorization. And obviously execution a little bit, but a lot of it is memorization and being prepared to do the next screen before it actually happens.
There's the upcoming.
Oh,
in Live 13 where you skip half
did
of
you
the
do this
level.
one first try? Oh, that's really hard. That requires. So he did a water jump there. Oh yeah, he does some water jumps in this, by the way. We were mentioning I didn't do many of those in my run, but yeah, for that to skip it like that, you need like the max height water jump because there's variability in like the heights you can get with the water jumps, and it's already pretty precise trick to begin with, but you have to do it.
It's not an intended mechanic.
Yeah. Oh right, yeah. Like
basically,
go ahead.
It's basically the same with the light pillars where you can fast fall just before you jump out of them, and you get an extra height boost, and somehow that's part of the mechanics in the game. It's not really intentional, but I think Tyler found it like a couple of weeks before they released the game.
Yeah.
And he decided not to fix it because it could introduce new problems, probably. And I mean, it's not game breaking or anything, but it just makes a couple of screens a little bit faster.
It's nice, cool. A mod was actually made utilizing it completely, and I think that was one of the best mods I ever played, to be honest. Like having to master the water jumping and such. It's really satisfying to pull off.
Yeah, and the same mechanic, like with the water jumps. Actually, I think it has to do with water jumps. You can actually get a height boost off of these mines that also give you a speed boost.
Yeah.
So if you jump on them and fast fall shortly before, you will fly higher than normally, and we will use that too at some points. And there, in that room, I actually messed it up because I did a fast fall like after I hit the after I hit the mine instead of.
Barely missed it.
Yeah, ruin can be pretty tough.
So any particular rooms where you die a lot at 20%?
Actually, not really, because most of the deaths really pretty much catch you off guard. You're not really prepared. Like the death can happen at every time. It's mostly like there's no strap that's super hard, but just getting all of them in a row, especially if you're on a good pace, is very demanding mentally.
I mean, that's what always impressed me about Meatboy speedruns is the fact that the players have to remember all the screens. Like, it's a lot, isn't it?
There are even more in this game.
I mean, day by day, you could probably only learn so many screens.
Yeah, your brain, like, you can't force yourself to memorize things any faster, really.
Yeah, you have to sleep on it or take a break and etc.
Exactly. I hate taking breaks. I wish. But I spend a lot of time and I try and learn as much as I can because I hate having to do multiple sessions before I can do attempts for something.
Yeah,
it seems like
we talked about.
Go ahead.
As we talked about it in the Deathless run. Like in these last couple of screens in Ruin, there's a completely new movement mechanic introduced for only like 4 screens.
Oh yeah.
Where just gravity pulls you to the left side of the screen, and it's just very weird to control Ash like that.
Yeah, that's part of what makes that final jump hard.
Yeah.
Is like, it's just precise. There's really no trick. You just have to hold jump for like the perfect amount of time. There's some leniency with it, but
I don't know.
Also
I found it easier than some other Ruin stuff. I didn't really pay attention to it. I didn't think people found it that hard.
Well, I mean, how many times did you do it? Did you only do it once?
I think like 2 times. Yeah. Like success.
Well, I guess you're one of the lucky ones, or you're just better than everyone. Like in that particular way.
Yeah. The difference between players.
Not that easy.
Yeah, but I'm awful at timings. At just particular stuff like those ghosts or just bullets, bullet lines in general. It's just mind-boggling, just how many timings you have to just put through your head.
It's really interesting, the level design for the last 2 chapters, because like the going backwards through all the levels, like you actually visit the same rooms like as you visited before, but they are all possible to do in reverse, and
that's neat.
Pretty funny.
Yeah, clever game design here. Yeah. And also, one thing I didn't get to experience because I played this game on keyboard, the controller starts vibrating once the time goes lower.
Yeah.
And also,
actually, the screen starts shaking too. Yeah.
At 4 minutes, the screen begins to gradually increase its intensity of shaking, and it gets really bad.
Yeah. Luckily, we don't spend that much time in this chapter.
Oh wow, just 1 second
Yeah.
below that, below 4 minutes before it starts shaking.
Yeah, and that's it.
Great run. Ah, very nice.
Yeah, a lot of the deaths are pretty silly actually. Like, I think one of the deaths was at the beginning. At the beginning of the last chapter. Instead of skipping the cutscene, I pressed that button too early and actually reset it in the room, which made me die in that room. So because I was very nervous at that point of time in the run.
Do you think anyone would be able to ever do sub 30 with how polished the game is?
Well, sub 30 is probably pretty hard, but it's definitely possible. But
well, some of best is 3120 though. Sub 30.
Yeah, I mean,
you got a minute and 20 to improve on the
It's-
strats.
there are some strats that you can definitely do, and I mean there are 20 deaths, so most of them are pretty
20
short,
deaths.
but some of them have some time loss associated.
Well, you had
with
a
them.
lot of golds at the end of this run here, so I suppose you could find some more of those in the late game, perhaps, since you don't play that as much. I'd have to reckon. So sub 31.
I'm pretty sure Eenox could get the record if he actually puts the time in,
Yeah.
and I'm actually pretty excited to watch that progress.
What about
I
you
plan to
getting
do it
like?
soon.
What about you doing Deathless though?
Well,
Can you unlearn all of your any percent strats? That's the real.
God.
That's
yeah,
the real
that's gonna be pretty
challenge.
hard.
That would be really. What would be really hard, because that's why I did it before I started speedrunning, because I knew there would be some conflict with that. So the first strats that I learned were the safe strat, so it was a lot easier to remember everything.
Yeah, that's supposed
Oh,
to be
yeah.
a better foundation.
I can imagine like some speedrunner just going into any 8%, like
Imagine.
Just wait a second, just getting a time like I don't know, like how's it, like 48 minutes. And then Eenox is just like, bam, I can do the same as you, but with no deaths. It's such a flip-flop.
You just gave me a really weird idea. Like, what if somebody just only speedran the game and didn't even look at the achievements, and they had a Deathless any percent run and just got an achievement randomly, and they're like, what?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
There are like 2 achievements that has been in the game from release. Like there's a speedrun and like don't die as much, I guess, achievement.
Mhm.
Which are more
Speedrun is one like hour and a half.
Yeah.
yeah, there are definitely more casual achievements. Like, yeah, as you said, the speedrun achievement is for beating the game, so basically beating any percent
What we
in
just said.
less than 90 minutes.
No,
And
really.
I think
Okay.
the dying achievement is finishing the game with less than 200 deaths, I think.
Yeah,
So
That seems fairly generous.
it is.
yeah,
I'd say it's more worth it to just go for the low death achievement first, because the odds are pretty good that if you get it, your time is probably going to be under an hour 30 anyway. And that's what happened to me.
Right. Well, like you had all those strats dialed in, so you're just you said you were taking some breathing time, but I mean you were
Yeah.
just going room to room, so no wonder it's fairly brisk.
No, I
Whereas
was talking about the time I did like the low death achievement, because there's an achievement for the original one was get less than 200 deaths on a save file.
Oh.
And yeah, there's a less than 200 deaths achievement and a speedrun achievement, which is what he just mentioned. And it's pretty worth it to go for the less than 200 death one, because if you get less than 200 deaths and you're trying to not die, you're probably saving more time by not dying. Because I remember, like, I did the speedrun achievement first and I died like 400 times. And I barely made it.
and even though both are pretty generous, they still have less than 1% clear rate on Steam.
Oh, yeah.
So
and we have our final video coming up. So there's a little bit of the lore to tell. So what Ash just loves more than friends, it's game collecting. And so in each world, even the future worlds, you can collect a video game cartridge. And so at your home, you can put it into your virtual console and play. And it's the bonus content, and does not really carry over into the main game unless you're going into for the bonus ending.
Okay. Wait.
And so those cards in there, the rules are just a bit different. You play the game just as usual, the end is Nigh, but yeah, depending
it's
on
basically
cards.
reskinned. So
Yeah. It's
Red
like there's a
style.
CRT filter over
Oh.
it by default. I turned it off because it's just easier to look at a flat screen than have like the slight warping of it.
yeah,
In
but
terms
it
of, like,
still has
Electric
the
Deathless.
pixel graphics are still there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and each card has its own style basically.
Yeah. The cartridges are much harder, just like generally speaking, much
Than the
harder
base game, yeah.
than the base game.
All of them are puns on NES games.
Yeah, they're like puns on the names.
Where am I hearing this gun shooting sound? Oh, we got another replay on.
Oh.
I was hearing like the turret. I don't know, all the turret noises. Anyway, my bad.
Okay.
Producer
Yeah.
problems.
So let's explain just about the glitched cards. Is that by the rules you get unlimited lives for each screen, so they are designed to be as difficult as possible.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, there's separate categories for the cartridges. There are iron carts, normal carts, and glitch carts. Iron carts are meant to be cleared, or they have to be cleared, deathless. Like they're intended. That's the only way to beat them. If you die, you get sent back to the first screen. But the levels are made to be much easier as a result because they're meant for casual players to be able to do it deathless. You know, normal
They're
carts.
also a little bit shorter than the rest of them.
Yeah. And then normal carts are 10 screens, and you have 20 lives, but one continue. So it'll show that you have 10 lives on the screen, but once you deplete them, it'll say, do you want to continue? And you have one continue. So 20 lives for the normal carts. And they also feature rings as well. They're just extra, pretty much useless collectibles, but they're necessary for achievements. There's 10 on each screen, adding for a total of 100 rings total for each cart. And there's achievements for beating the carts without a continue and getting all the rings. And you can also do them deathless as well. So you're seeing on the screen right now, you see like the numbers and the exclamation points. The exclamation points mean that you did that card deathless. And then for the top of the list, you see the 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are all the normal carts. And what the numbers resemble are the different achievements for those carts. So 1 being bare minimum, which is just completing the cart. 2 is getting 50 rings, or at least 50 rings in the cart. 3 is beating it without a continue. And then 4 is beating it, collecting all the rings. But anyway,
Wow.
The glitch carts are ones that you have infinite lives in, and the screens are just the hardest screens in the game, basically.
So they are from the game.
Yeah, of course.
They're
Yeah.
not custom levels.
You collect them in game to put into your in-game console.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
meta.
It's all in-game stuff. Yeah. It's meta stuff, but it is actually the real game.
Okay. Neat.
These are like these deathless glitch card achievements are some of the hardest to get, like for the first time. Like they have really low clear rate, like 0.3 and below, or 0.4 and below on Steam. And here I did. So, something worth mentioning. So for the iron carts and the normal carts, after you collect them all, there's like a mass compilation cart that you get. So you can see there's The ones on the denial, anger, bargaining, depression, those are like the 5 stages of grief, or those are only 4. But then when you collect all 4 of those, you get acceptance. And acceptance is just all of those cards in a row, plus an additional 5th world that doesn't appear anywhere else in the game. It's exclusive to that card. And you're expected to do all of that in a row deathless.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, so it's like a forced deathless cart where you can't practice the last world. People complain about that a lot because that cart is necessary for just 100% in the game. That arguable. I understand where they're coming from. And then what I think is the harder one is Super Mega Cart. So the Super Mega Cart is all of the normal carts back to back plus
9.
Yeah, the first 9 plus an additional 10th world. That's like a Bowser's Castle type of deal, and it's exclusive to that one. And there's a deathless achievement for doing that one as well, and that's like the hardest achievement in the game. Like standalone accomplishment. So by that, I was following that logic. There isn't one for the glitch carts. There's no like compilation cart for the glitch carts, and rightfully so, because that would just be way too ridiculous. But I took it upon myself, since it didn't exist, and I felt like I was comfortable enough with the glitch carts, that I was going to do it myself, even though there wasn't like an achievement for it or anything. I did all the glitch carts back to back without dying, and I think I'm pretty sure I'm the only one to do that, since like it's a self-imposed challenge.
Let's go.
Sweet.
Yeah, sorry. That's enough introduction. I just had to explain the.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, the card's nature, it's a bonus content, and they only just come into use if you're going for the bonus ending, which is not the part of the main game.
Alright, well, we'll count down then from 25 seconds then. Alright. 3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah, so this card that Eenox is picking first is actually the card you play in-game after you start your save. And once you die, and you will die because it's a really hard card, the actual game starts.
This is probably like the most precise screen in the game. There's like a 2 or 3 frame window for that jump.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looked really stupid.
Yeah, there's a lot of this looks pretty stupid. It's like, this is the hardest one though. This is definitely the most precise card, which is why I started with it. The first 4 screens are the hardest in my opinion, and then after that it's not that bad. There's like not a lot to say. Yeah, oh yeah, utilizing fast fall a ton now. Like you're seeing me actually, like at any percent deathless, my gameplay wasn't as fast folly, but I definitely do that a lot here because there's just no hesitation, you just gotta go.
Tactical retreat over there because you just waste a cycle.
Yeah. This one has a cool little strat here where you can go over like that. That's actually pretty simple. Like it's kind of free.
But it looks nice.
It looks nice and it looks difficult, but it's actually one of the easier ones. Level 10's pretty free. Casually, it's hard to figure out where all the bullets go and what's a problem, but the good thing about no RNG is that it's the same every time, and once you learn it once, then you can do it forever. Alright, that's the end is Nigh. Glitch cart. I do Dead Racer second. It's definitely not the second hardest glitch cart, but the second screen here is just it gave me some troubles. You have to like kind of tight, and then you got to do that calculated fast fall to break the wall. I just found that pretty hard. And then also the 6th level of Dead Racer I found pretty inconsistent as well. And in the context of doing it all in a row, I had to do it at some point. I'd rather get this out of the way early.
Right.
Despite it standalone, it's definitely not close to the worst. I do a little weird strat here. I'm going to go right up next to that spike wall and land on half a block. Yeah.
Cool.
And then feature some toxic water. Oh yeah, this is the only cart that Tyler made, and it's the only cart that has a timer.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know about Tyler though. Wow.
Yeah, he made this cart. Edmund, like, I think it was like a last minute thing because the cart list didn't like fill up the entire screen. Edmund was working on the cutscenes for the game, and he's like, I think we should add another one. And he told Tyler to make one, and then he did. He made this one. I think he made it for extra memey because I mean that color palette is really disgusting, like by anybody's standards.
But it's cool. Like, I mean, it's not the only like timer based card though, because there's this Pac-Man ripoff.
That's true. You're right. Like, yeah, that's basically timed. Yeah. Scabbard Die has a lot of. This is a pretty precise one, like the end is Nigh. I would call this one the second hardest. It doesn't have any crazy timings like that third screen on the end is Nigh, where it's like just the perfect single input timing. But level 6 on here is pretty troublesome. Like, it has some. You'll see. I can't really describe it in words. It's better just like.
So, what strategies do you employ for consistency?
I don't know if there's really anything in particular with the glitch carts. Like,
yeah, but maybe there are certain cycles that make think easier. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, I find what those are. I don't really know exactly by memory what they are. They just happen so fast. Basically, every screen I just do the safest cycle. I guess I just do a lot of strat finding and a lot of practicing and doing the same, thing over and over again. Like, yeah, it requires a lot of practice. Like, I know that's like stereotypical thing to say, but it's because it's just true.
Yeah.
If you want to get consistent, you just got to do the same thing over and over again in practice.
I mean, it's very true in a game like this, especially.
Yeah. There's no like movement things really that I do that make it any easier. It really is just learning what to do, remembering what to do, and then doing it.
Straightforward stuff.
Yeah. I mean, easier said than done. But I don't think I could really give any better advice than that.
Oh yeah, about the glitches. Aren't they random?
I think these are random.
Yeah, like after you die, the composition changes or something.
Yes, yeah. So there's all these little random glitch particles that I think is completely random what it is. But I mean, it doesn't really matter because it doesn't affect the gameplay at all. But
what about that visual cue that you got glitched?
I don't think luckily I don't think I use any visual cues that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's never.
My visual cue is glitched.
Yeah, I think only blocks and background tiles can have it happen to them, but you can still like see mostly like what it is. But that actually would be a problem. Maybe that would be possible, and I just haven't ran into a situation where that's happened. Can't think of anything. Well, actually, I don't even really notice the glitch particles. Like I'm actually focusing on them. Like even if a block that I use was glitched, I could just like remember what it looks like, kind of fill in, connect the dots, fill in what it's supposed to be, and my brain just does that automatically.
Yeah, I think for me the main difficulty of dealing with cards compared to the base game is just that information deprivation sort of thing, because there are less animation frames, just everything is less smooth.
Yeah.
And so just glitchiness, it really contributes to that, to the chaos.
Well,
that's why
spike's like a little bit less spiky.
Yeah. And the spike hitboxes are actually like noticeably lenient in the cards. They're not accurate. Yeah. Here's the.
It's Pac-Man.
Like,
wait, sorry.
Yeah.
Puss Man.
Yep.
Wait, Puss Man or Puss Man?
I don't know.
Gonna need a translation on that. Puss.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean the original Pac-Man. Wasn't it called Pac-Man originally or something like that?
Puckman, but not Pussman or
Yeah.
Pussman. One of the two. It's one of the two.
So this card, yeah, you've gone through it super fast.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about Puss
Yeah, you're
Man.
breezing right through
I
these. Pussman.
I guess that's what he is.
Yeah. Does that make you
Maybe
want
it's
to
just
play
a
the game?
typo or something.
No, they. I don't think so. No, they all have like little slight variations. Like I didn't mention it. There was a Ghosts and Grieving cart. You know, that's obviously
Yeah.
referencing Ghosts and Ghouls or whatever the heck. I don't know the. I know
Okay.
you're familiar with those games, right?
Yeah, all of them are
yeah.
parodies of NES games, and well, except usually all of them are death themed or suffering, and Pussman, that's a mystery. Like, what was that one supposed to mean in the morbid context of the Endless Night? Yeah, feel free to point out if you know.
Maybe it's like, you know, like pus, like Meat Boy, like a wound pus,
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's
like a Meat Boy
what
reference.
I kind of thought, but I don't think about it.
I thought that was with two S's though, but I guess you gotta
I don't know.
take the one S out for the Pac-Man thing.
Yeah.
Breaking it down. Oh, okay, that's another one down.
And the last one.
Here's the final one. I find it the easiest, but it's pretty jarring. Like for the first time, you're like, what the heck is going on? Like this is casually, this is a really, really hard one to do for the first time. But
yeah, I remember just grabbing, oh yeah, this is cool. I'm going to play some glitchy game, and then what the fuck?
Yeah, this is like there's really fast moving enemies here, but once you memorize like the timings and when you can go, it's or like remember the patterns. That's a better way of explaining it. There's patterns to it, and once you memorize those, then it's not too bad.
Yeah, it's like it's not like you're like panicking to get through there. It's like you're doing everything as you know you should.
Yeah, it's all calculated.
Yeah, like all
it'd be entertaining though if you were just
through,
panicking your way through the whole thing.
Exactly, which most people do. Tombs and Torture 9 used to be much harder than it currently looks. They nerfed that one. I think that's one of the only things they actually like nerfed.
Oh, yeah, but the game's play tested super well, to be honest.
Yeah. And there it is. That's all the.
Yeah, nice stuff.
I've only
nice
done
stuff.
that. Only done that once, because there's no reason to do that more than once.
And thankfully, there's no achievement for that.
Yeah, you gotta collect another new achievement there.
Ghosts and Goblins. Oh, I'm dumb. There's a ghouls, and there's so many variations of that, isn't there?
Yeah, like 4 variations.
I saw like on you guys' channel.
Well, yeah, you got Ghosts and Goblins, then Ghouls and Ghosts, then Super
There's
Ghouls and
There's
Ghosts.
like so. I'm not familiar with them.
Then there's fan games like Ghosts and Demons.
Yeah. You didn't let me finish though. Super Ghouls and Ghosts, and then Ultimate Ghosts and Goblins. And then if you want to break it down to the Japanese, it's Makemura, then Daimakemura, then Cho Makemura, and then Goku Makemura for extreme. Anyway, maybe you remember that. Maybe you won't.
Yeah, that's pretty much most of the game. We left out some hidden collectibles, but the
That was
categories involved in them are far too long to cover in this episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
That was good stuff watching those runs. Once again,
Okay.
great job on those runs.
Okay,
Thank you.
Aquas, do you feel like you would try out the game for yourself one time?
Yeah, if you like, this is definitely, if you like platformers especially, like you gotta play this game. If for some reason you haven't.
Yeah, this is probably basically my favorite platformer to date.
Yeah.
Also casually, because there's like most of the game casually is really the exploration part of it, because you have so many different like secret paths that you could take in
Oh yeah.
most of the levels that lead you to collectibles and stuff, and it's
Nice.
really fun to explore.
Yeah, it's one of the few games that where you actually want to look for the secrets to yourself and not just fuck it and look at the guide and
Yeah.
yeah, you can discover just the majority of them, at least 75% by yourself if you backtrack several times.
Yeah, very cool. And how much did both of you like play Meat Boy? Like how much was Meat Boy an influence to you actually like wanting to play this game or speedrun it?
I'll go first. Meat Boy was the first platformer that I ever played, and The End is Nigh was the second platformer that I ever played. Yeah.
Okay.
Like I don't know why I guess I really like Edmund games actually, because first I really liked Meat Boy, and then I found out about The Binding of Isaac, and I got really obsessed with that game for a long time.
Was that the first time you played Zelda as well? Sorry, I just had to get a joke in there.
I mean, he already played Zelda. See those chain chomps in Golgotha.
Right. Well, yeah, I remembered from Link's Awakening they had chain chomps. So.
Yeah, and then they became Mario thing, crossover.
But sorry, yeah, please continue your story. I didn't mean to cut you off from insulting you.
Aquas is just flexing on you the whole time.
Yeah, no, I haven't played.
Ghosts and ghouls knowledge.
God, I wish I didn't say that. God dang it, my train of thought. What was I? I was talking about Super Meatboy and... Okay, yeah, so I guess I became like an Edmund fanboy or something. Not really. I mean, like, I was just excited for any game that he would put out, and knowing that he was going to put out a new hard platformer, I was actually probably one of the only people like super excited about it, because not a lot of people knew about it before it even came out.
Yeah, I did notice on the wiki, like, apparently it wasn't even announced 1 month before its release, which is interesting.
It is an
interesting marketing tactic.
Yeah, I don't know if that one paid off too well. But, I mean, like, this game still did well, but just definitely not. I'd say rightfully so, not as much as Super Meat Boy, because it's not as revolutionary of a title.
I mean, it gets compared to Super Meat Boy a lot, but like
it's
Super Meat Boy is a very high like standard too.
Well, yeah, but it's a lot less slippery, and my main complaint with Meat Boy was that the main character controls is just so moving around, so it's difficult.
Yeah, this seems like a bit more of a refined experience compared to Meat Boy.
Yeah, controls.
Yeah, I think the gameplay in general is very like significantly different from Super Meat Boy. Like, even if the general genre is kind of similar, like, I mean, it's still a platformer, it's still very hard, but I think the feel of playing it is very, very different.
Yeah, and also the chunks that you have to retry are smaller. It helps with accessibility.
Yeah, like, I don't know. Yeah, when I watched it, like, you know, I thought maybe, I wasn't sure how, you know, how much the Meat Boy comparison was gonna play in, and it does, but obviously, like, yeah, it's like its own thing, and it does a really good job, like, refining the formula there. I think it's pretty sweet. Not just Meat Boy, not just, like, you know, another Meat Boy game, essentially.
Yeah, I actually played Super Meat Boy before that game, before The End is Nigh, but only casually for, I think, not more than maybe 5 hours or so.
Okay.
And that was like 4 or 5 years before this game came out. So I pretty much played Super Meat Boy when it came out, when it was hyped back in the days.
Yeah.
And but I didn't speedrun it or anything. I think I only cleared it once and not anything more. But actually, after speedrunning The End is Nigh, I started looking into speedrunning Super Meat Boy 2. So
Oh, sweet.
I've been doing that a little bit and got a decent time there too.
Nice.
Yeah, been great.
The game that will change your outlook on life.
Yeah, pretty much. Now I'm just speedrunning every platformer I ever play, probably.
Yeah, after this game, I was so motivated to go outside.
And find a friend.
Yeah. or at least parts.
Parts of a friend. Yeah, sure.
Is that what happens in the story? You only find a part of your friend?
And
A
you
friend?
build them together.
Yeah,
You
you
find-
build your friend.
Yeah, you find a
multiple
head,
parts.
a soul, or a heart, and a body.
It's pretty morbid.
Yeah.
The whole game is really, there's so much just tasty dialogue that's kind of sarcastic in nature. Maybe
Yeah,
it's
the
kind of
dialogues
about
are really funny.
Ed's frustration as he was struggling with making this game. Who knows?
Yeah, I think that's what he said.
But yeah, again, thanks to the game developers for providing us such a polished experience.
For sure. Very, very nice.
That seemed pretty sweet. I want to try it out now.
Oh, cool.
That's good.
That's always a
Yeah.
good thing.
Yeah, follow Aquas.
I
Yeah.
cannot recommend it enough. It's a very great game.
I agree.
Yeah, so
Sweet.
I think we covered the most essential speedrun and survival basics. So this video should be a good primer on how to run this game, I suppose. And there's of course the official Discord server for the game.
Yeah, for sure. We have, like, for speedrunning, we have a really big spreadsheet with strats for each individual screen, like at least
Ooh.
from the main game, and different like difficulty strats that you could choose.
Nice.
And-
Organization.
Yeah, that helped me actually get
That's pretty
into
nice.
it in the beginning. So I didn't have to find all the strats myself. It's nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure. Okay, we can just include the Discord link to that. Probably in our YouTube description. Be fine.
Yeah. Good idea.
Yeah, and not only for speedrunning, like as the
Yeah, it's
server
also
is
for
just
modded level building.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we didn't really talk much about that, but did mention that the game has a pretty substantial modding scene going
I think
on.
we can cover mods some other time because they can be very different with up to EX8 modding. It's pretty much another game, and the developers are actually somewhat interested in seeing just how far the game engine is pushed.
Okay, yeah. Seems pretty neat. It's got it all, I guess. Sweet. Well, you want to close us out, Extruder?
Yeah,
That's
sure.
gonna do it.
It's done. It's been quite a long ride.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this game is good. Thanks for watching. The runners are also good. They've done some crazy achievements that some people in quite some time won't be able to replicate to the same degree. So thanks for watching these runs. I hope you picked up something new about platforming and game design today.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having us here.
Yeah, sure, you're welcome. When you learn another game, feel free to call us.
All right.
All right.
Alright. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Bye.
Later.